I'm Jacob Charlton, and I'm the vocalist of Thornhill.
I'm Ethan McCann. I play guitar in Thornhill.
Beautiful gentlemen, thanks for joining us today.
Thanks for having us.
My
Of course,
pleasure.
man.
So we're here to speak about the fact that Thornhill released your third studio album, Bodies, on April 4th, which isn't too far away, guys. Like, how you feeling? Nervous, excited, anxious, nonplussed?
I think for the first time, we're properly excited. I don't think I feel nervous this time. I think it's just like ready for it to be out and heard for the first time, like feeling excited and proud.
Yeah. And can you dive into it a bit more musically for us, guys, and then what you're actually going for sonically this time?
I think the first thing that we wanted to sort of sit down to after Heroine was like we wanted a lot more energy and a lot more pace in the music. We found that when we took Heroine to our live show, it felt like it was kind of dragging at times, and because we started playing heavy music when we were teenagers, we kind of missed that energy and seeing that reaction in real time.
How did you actually go about doing that and making that happen?
I think just a lot more focus on rhythm and like drum beat and like Jacob was listening to a lot more like sort of pop and R&B music around this time. So I think there's even a lot more pace in sort of his vocal patterns as opposed to our sort of long stretched out chords and crooning sort of vocals from the last album.
Nice. And the press release says that it can change some of your heaviest moments to date. Would you agree with that statement?
I would.
I would agree.
Yeah. Why?
Um, I think Heroin was such a different approach to the album before it, that I think we started to miss being the heavy band on a bill. I think because we're still, in the heavy music world, we'd play a lot of heavy shows and we'd kind of be the softer of the act. And I think that was fun at the start just because we felt a bit uninspired by heavy music. But by the end of it, I think we were missing some of that heaviness or darkness. So we really tried to bring it in with a bit of a new flavor, hopefully.
Nice. So you've released the singles Obsession, Merv, Silver Swarm, and Tongues. So are they a good sonic representation of what fans can expect, or are there a few other layers in there?
Oh, there's always layers, mate. There's
There's
always
Yeah.
more.
There's definitely a few curveballs in there. I think with singles, we try and pick them so you get a little taste of everything. Like it's a little sample platter of the album, but there's always going to be like a couple of cards up our sleeve, I think.
I want to give everything away.
Yeah.
Yeah, all right, yeah. We'll leave you with a bit of mystery. I won't press you. So we spoke about your previous album, Heroine, which came out 2022, and that was an APRA nominated album, and it went down really well. So when you were approaching this one, was it tempting at all to rehash that winning formula because you knew it worked so well, or was it important for you to move on from there?
Well, we didn't win anything. We got
I didn't win, but
nominated.
you nominated. You're nominated.
I think we just got a good week. I think most people hated that record, so I don't think. Oh, look, we don't really think much, I think, on purpose, because the more thought you put into what you want from it, I think the less you're actually going to get out of it. I think we just wanted to enjoy ourselves and see what we could come up with without any expectation, because we don't really, I mean, your first listener is always going to be yourself, and as long as you're enjoying it, you'll find your people.
Oh, cool. Now, this one I found interesting, guys. Like, there was a quote from the band in that press release that said, "Bodies marks a bold evolution in our ever-changing sound." Like, can you elaborate on that more for us?
I think also to sort of elaborate on your last question at the same time, I think we never really try and compare what we're making to what we have already done. We have this saying where we just kind of follow the endorphins. It's never like, okay, we've done this, now we need to do this. It's just a matter of whatever we feel like playing, whatever we feel like listening to, like whatever brings those endorphins.
That's nice. Now, how would you say, so because you sort of do change and you have got a lot of evolution in music, like how would you say that the band has grown or changed musically over the course of the Dark Pool to Heroin and Outer Bodies?
That's a good question. Why don't you take that one, Ethan?
Okay. Um, I think, like I said, like our taste is always changing. Like we always go through different phases of liking different bands and different things in our music. Um, And I think that's just sort of apparent in our albums. Like it wasn't a conscious decision for us to go a bit lighter or a bit more chorusy with Heroine. It was just like the sort of music we were listening to at that time. And now with Bodies, it's like we have been listening to more electronics. We have been listening to sort of faster music, and that's what it sounds like to us, I guess.
But at the same time, I think we also feel it live in our own music of what we're missing or what we'd prefer to play. Because I think a lot of the time, the heroin stuff might have been a vibe, but it's a bit harder to translate live. And I think we learn a lesson with each release and with each song. Like Obsession was such a good one to learn that we were like, oh yeah, we can still play slow shoegaze, but it can still have more attitude and more rhythmic movement to it, and we can still feel fulfilled by that on stage. So I think that's always going to be one of those things as we learn and tour more.
And this is a bit of a two-part question, guys, but along those lines, like, firstly, how much musical growth do you think Thornhill's got left in you as a band? And secondly, will it get to the stage ever where you'll have to sort of sit down as a band and discuss which way you are going because you sort of wanting to branch out in so many directions, I guess?
I think we'll go until we can't anymore. I think, like we've said, follow the endorphins until there aren't any, probably. I think, I don't know, I don't like putting too much weight on the future. I think we'll just keep going as we see it in front of us. But I don't know, we're so close as friends that I think, the movement and the change is always very verbally like talked about throughout the four of us. So I think everybody's always on board with wherever we feel we're going to go together.
It never really takes any convincing, like, because Jacob
Mm.
said, because we are such close friends, we kind of go through the different phases together. So, like, whenever there's a new demo that sounds quite different, everybody's just kind of on board from the get-go, which is
Yeah.
why it's so exciting and so easy for us to sort of try so many different things.
Cool. Now, you've got three album preview shows coming up as well in Melbourne this Thursday, March 27th, Brisbane on the 29th, and Sydney on the 30th. So, firstly, what exactly is an album listening show? How does that work?
So we basically play the album in full, and then we sit down and do like a Q&A at the end just to like see what the first responses are. We started it on the heroin cycle, and I think we really enjoyed it because it's just like a really good way to kind of like give back to the Australian scene, all the love and support that we've gotten, and it's like a cool little exclusive thing. And it's also cool to have live feedback. It's cool for us to feel how it all plays before we go do, our biggest headline international tour ever. So I think it's just like an exciting thing that we like to kind of involve everybody in.
And would you say something like that's more for you guys as a band or it's more for the fans?
I think it's both. I think they coexist. I think it's good for everybody involved, hopefully, if we do it well.
Yeah, I think it's
Well,
a nice way for the fans to get like an inside scoop on the album, and it's also a nice way to for us to sort of elaborate ourselves as opposed to you just hearing it for the first time. It's like we sort of get to explain the ins and outs a bit more so people can sort
Mm.
of understand the full concept. And I
And
think
we're very much
both,
about, oh no, go, 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 go.
I was just going to say that like it benefits both of us because we get to sort of portray that full picture and fans get to fully hear that they might
Mm.
not otherwise.
And it's good, I think we always put it in the forefront of this band of like being as organically ourselves as possible because I think it's very easy to get wrapped up in what we do. And I think the separation can sometimes be very large. And I think it's just cool that we can just be in a room and just be a bunch of idiots just explaining why we love music and why we made decisions and be, so one-on-one with everybody because that's how a band should be as much as possible. I think
damn,
we care about that a lot.
damn straight. Now, you mentioned your biggest international tour to date, guys. Tell us about that.
America, baby, USA.
Nice. Was it a headline tour?
Yeah,
Nice. When do you go over there?
We jet off on
7th.
the 8th,
Oh, I thought it was the 7th. Could
8th of
be.
April. 8th of April we fly out and it's with Ocean Grove, our Melbourne boys, Avoid from the US and
Banks
Banks
Arcade.
Arcade, also from Melbourne.
Very nice, guys. Now we get this over quickly because we're running out of time, but I've got a new segment I've introduced at Heavy called Photo Bomb, which basically I troll through your social media before we chat, and I find some photos that I want to know a little bit more about.
Oh, let's go.
So I found this one, like, doesn't look like there was much room for you guys there. Well, you need a cupboard.
Oh my God.
We're on a yacht. We played a show on a yacht, and it was
And we were all
hectic.
dressed up as sailors. We all had stripy shirts and white pants and stuff.
Mm. It
Was it
was,
that,
we couldn't even see the second row. It was just like floor to ceiling. It was crazy.
was it that small you had to do that, or were you just being goofy?
Bit of column A, bit of column B on that one, I think.
Yeah, and I'm not sure his old mate straight in front of you there. It looks like he's just had himself a moment.
Yeah, I'm glad he did because I would have stunk, I reckon.
Very nice. All right. The other one I found is, what's the occasion with this one, guys? You all scrub up pretty well.
Hey,
Nice banger.
banger. We got invited to the Elvis premiere, like the movie premiere, red carpet event. We don't know why and we don't know how, but that was a really fucking awesome night. We got absolutely pissed on free champagne.
Oh, nice.
We were being absolute menaces, but we had a really great time, and it was really cool to see that movie before it hit cinemas because it was a goat, and he's the goat. He's right here.
Oh, yes, too.
So
Wow. So, oh, well, that's a massive Elvis fan. Were you impressed?
I loved it. I'm a big oh my God. Why am I why am I blanking on his name? Tony
Austin
Hell.
Butler.
No, but yeah.
Oh,
No.
Baz Luhrmann.
Baz Luhrmann. Oh my God. I'm a big Baz Luhrmann fan. I mean, Romeo and Juliet is probably one of me and my partner's like favorite movies of all time. And he always works with his wife, who's probably the most incredible stylist ever. And this was really amazing to see and hear from her because she was there and she did a speech and kind of explained things. And it got me pretty hyped because wardrobe's a big part of our band, and it's a big job and a big effort, and it was really fucking awesome.
That's awesome, guys. All right. Well, thanks very much for your time. The album Bodies is out April 4. The boys are off to Melbourne, Sydney, and Brisbane this weekend for some shows. Where can people keep up with what you guys are doing and buy your album?
Instagram, Spotify, probably it because we don't really use anything else.
No worries at all, guys. All right. Well, thanks very much for your time. It's been a pleasure, and I'll try and make it along to the Brisbane show and say hello.
Hey,
Thanks,
love
mate. Have a
that.
good one.
Thanks for having us.
No worries, guys. You take care.